Up the pipe!
G'day guys, Nate here, coming at you with Collingwood's 2025 season review. Once and for all, time to put this season to bed, once and for all, and then we will focus on the trade period. Apologies in advance as well if this is not uploaded at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. Today, I am recording this today on a Sunday morning. Last minute errands came up Saturday, so Saturday was a nothing day for me. That was a write-off. Sunday, we've lost an hour due to daylight savings, so a little bit pissed off about that. I've been robbed. I deserve compensation for this. Deserve a retroactive premiership for that, but it is what it is. Recording this on a Sunday morning. I'm hoping to get this up Sunday 5 p.m. If it's not up at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Going to do my best to rush this. I'm still going to be meticulous, very thorough, very detailed with the player analysis, team analysis, recapping every game. It's not going to be a deep dive or a dissecting every single game. Bit of stats here and there. I'm just going to display the scores, the best on ground, the goal scorers, just discussing the game real briefly, 1 or 2 minutes each. And when I talk about team and player analysis, I'm talking every single game and every single player, from Darcy Cameron, our best and fairest, all the way down to Harvey Harrison, who didn't play a game at all. 45 players to mention, go over each player for about a minute or two each game for a minute or two, my thoughts at the time, what it meant for us going forward for each week or round by round, and then just go over our team stats for 2025, how it compared to the league, and also what we need to improve on next year, what we need to bring in. Moving on certain players, I'll discuss that in the player reviews and whatnot. Before I get into this video though, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel if you're not already. I will be discussing the trade period day by day. Just a brief recap of each day, so 5 to 10 minute sound bites, just going over Collingwood's day, who they're linked to, murmurs, news, rumours, murmurs, news, whatever you want to call it. Give the video a like, comment your thoughts on our season and also the upcoming trade period. Certain players you want to see lift for next year, who to bring in, who to not bring in, whatever you want to talk about, all things Collingwood related. Share this video as well. I understand it's end of season. The 2025 season is officially over, so this may not hit the algorithm per se, but I think it's a good recap and just put a bow, a feather in the cap, not so much a feather in the cap, but a bow on the season that was for Collingwood in 2025. And then we'll focus on the trade period next week, for the next week or two. Then the draft occurs as well, November 19th to November 20th. So bit more content to upload from me, Nate Talks Pies. I'm hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers. I don't know when. That's just my ultimate goal, and then who knows from there. But I do appreciate your support throughout this season. Very glad to start from nothing all the way up to 600 plus subscribers. And I'm still growing, still aiming to improve on this channel. Again, camera, microphone, audio, production overall, everything needs to improve on this channel, for me at least. Background, you name it. You can't even see the bobbleheads properly. So aiming to improve on all of that. Cheap plugs and intros and waffling out of the way. Getting into this 2025 Collingwood season review right now. So as mentioned, I'm going to recap every single game we played, where we were at the time, certain player performances, stats, you name it. I'm not going to dissect every single game by stats per se. You can go back and look at my reviews. Certain games I didn't post the stats on, so I might have a good chance to talk about it here. If not, it'll be like our season, taper off from being detailed and whatnot. Just getting straight into this. We started 2025 opening round yet again, not too thrilled about that. Sunday afternoon against GWS. This was a standalone Sunday game. There was Sydney v Hawthorn on Thursday. 2 postponed games due to cyclone, whatever. 1 in 50-year cyclone, 1 in 50-year storm at the time. And front and centre, the spotlight was on Collingwood against GWS. And we got smoked by 52 points, 6-16, 52 to GWS 15-14, 104. Stat-wise, it was pretty even, but 6-16, 52, goal kicking inaccuracy told the story, cost us the game, but the Giants were too good. They overran us. They were able to counterattack us straight away from defensive 50. They were able to play their game and made us pay on turnovers. And that was a story for us in this game to start off the season. We were plus 21 contested possessions, but at the same time, minus 20 in tackles. Darcy Cameron was solid in the ruck by default because Kieran Briggs was knocked out in the first quarter. Perryman's first game for us here as a Magpie up against his old side, and probably Harry Perryman's best game of 2025 playing in the midfield. Tim Membry, first game for us as well, kicked a goal. That was about it for him. Josh Dacos was solid, but when Nick Dacos is in your top 5 best players here and he only played 3 quarters, he cramped up late third quarter. It tells the story. Getting crap from opposition fans and work colleagues and mates throughout the week after this loss. Wasn't too thrilled, but that stopped after Thursday when Carlton lost to Richmond. So thankful for that comedy relief. Any positives from opening round? Jack Crisp, 250 AFL games. If I had to describe this game in one word, just a mulligan. No, that's 3 words, but mulligan to be exact. Just move on from it. Just forget it happened. Areas to improve on, clearly. And we were able to respond in round 1 against Port Adelaide. What I did say as well, if this was how it was going to be going forward, it's going to be a long season. So thankfully, we're able to respond in round 1 against Port Adelaide Saturday night, the MCG. 91-point win, our biggest win under Craig McRae, 21-10, 136 to Port Adelaide, 6-9-45. We haven't won a game by over 100 points since 2012. That was against GWS in their first year. And we were on track for 100 points, but just couldn't get the 3 figures. But we're able to respond here. Plus 17 inside 50s, plus 26 in tackles. That's damning. 91-point win. And you're plus 26 in tackles, basically 2/3, 69-43 in tackles. The forward half pressure here was immense, and we were able to beat Port Adelaide at their own game. Now, 2 weeks prior to this win against Port Adelaide, I did watch Port Adelaide's pre-season game against St Kilda at Moorabbin, and they were able to display a very good run and carry game. Finlayson was intercepting everything in the back half, and none of that occurred against Collingwood here. We flipped their game plan and made them pay. They were cramping up late third quarter and all the final quarter. We just overran them from the start to the finish. Tim Membry, 4 goals, kicked 3 goals in a row in the first quarter. Probably McStay's best overall game, kicking 3 goals here for us. Myercheck, 3 goals. Side bottom was solid. Jack Crisp was solid. The Dacos brothers played well. Nick Dacos was tagged heavily. Somehow got a Brownlow vote, but was able to kick a goal late third quarter to shrug off the tag there. Again, Houston's first game for us, and just like Perryman, his best game for us this year and also against his old side. So a good way to respond, get our percentage back, 1 win, 1 loss, inside the top 8. Just a good overall response after that shellacking in opening round. Round 2 against Footscray. I'm not calling them the Western Bulldogs here. We get to call them Footscray. Footscray's 100-year anniversary game. They called us out. MCG. They hosted this game, but were able to hold off the Bulldogs by 6 points, 10-16, 76 to the Bulldogs 10-10, 70. Inaccuracy nearly cost us this game. We won the majority of the stats overall, including the free kick count, plus 19, 33-14. But to defend this, we were plus 10 in contested possessions in that final quarter. When you're first to the footy, you'll likely get the free kicks. So people can still harp on and bitch about the free kick count in this game, but I think the free kicks were there. The only one that I think was contentious was Bailey Dale's deliberate, but he was perpendicular to the boundary line. So whatever, and I wasn't in the good angle for that at the time, but Collingwood just inaccurate in this game. Nick Dacos, best on ground for us, 13 final quarter disposals. Sam Darcy, Tom Liberatore, they played very well for Footscray. 3 father-son players, all getting the Brownlow votes. Ned Long, impressed in this game. He was subbed on very early. Reef McInnes, unfortunately, going down with an ACL injury, ruled him out for the season, and I was impressed by Reef McInnes in his first 2 games. I was expecting big things from Reef in this game. I said in my preview video at the time, and I jinxed it as well. So apologies to Reef McInnes there. Side bottom, Schultz were very impressive in this game as well. Jordan to go his first game for us this year as well, but he kicked 3 behinds. Not his worst return game. I've seen him return or play his first game of the season and just be a dud previously. So he was fit to play and fit to perform here, but just wasn't able to execute. Again, 10-16, 76. Could have been better. We started poorly. We're able to respond throughout the game. Had we lost this game, this was a bit of a flashpoint, tipping point game, or fork in the road. If we lost this game, I don't think we have the season that we had. So thankfully, we're able to win this game. This was similar, no, not similar because of results, but in 2021, we lost to Brisbane after the siren because of Zach Bailey's shot. Had we won that game against Brisbane at the time, 2021, who knows how our season would have been. Had we lost this game against the Bulldogs, I think it would have been a little bit similar. But thankfully, the bye was next week or round 3. 2 wins, 1 loss, and we were top 4 at the end of round 2. But because of the bye, we fell back out of the top 4. Round 4 against Carlton, 17-point win, 8-15-63 to Carlton, 6-10-46. Thursday night, wet weather conditions. Carlton's season started poorly. They were 0-4, I think, after this point. Quiet first half, very shocking second quarter. Carlton were in front at half time, but I think we knew, and the atmosphere at the time or at the game was we were able to overrun them in the third quarter, and we did just that. 4 goals, 6-1 behind that third quarter, and we were able to hold off Carlton by 17 points. Lockie Schultz named best on ground. Darcy Cameron was solid in the ruck. Dan Houston, however, suspended for 2 games for his bump on Lockie Fogarty. He did it again. I think just knocked the confidence out of Dan Houston after that game. But I think the big talking point of this game wasn't so much the game itself, but 2 spectators bringing guns into the venue. Not too sure how that happened, but Collingwood, 3-game win streak, all guns blazing for Collingwood here. And we're starting to get our season rolling from that point on. Round 5 against Sydney, 31-point win in Gather Round. We're 3-0 in Gather Round and 10 wins in a row at the Adelaide Oval. Nick Dacos, best on ground, still side bottom, was solid as usual. Ned Long's breakout game here. Darcy Cameron playing his 100th game. And this game here was a good sign of how we were set up or how we were disciplined defensively. We were able to stop and block the corridor, able to stop Sydney's attack. They were very accurate in front of goals. They were able to convert every time they went inside 50. It's something for us to improve on, I guess. But 31-point win, you take that against a side that made the grand final last year, against a side that were head and shoulders throughout the season last year, the best team in the competition. They weren't able to win the flag last year, Sydney, but were able to just stomp and stop Sydney here, even though they had a new coach in Dean Cox, just able to stop Sydney's run and dash and carry game and their rebound ability. 4-game win streak after gather round, and we were top 4 after round 5. Our most clinical win, I believe, was against Brisbane round 6, Easter Thursday. 52-point win over Brisbane, the reigning defending undisputed premiers. 16-9, 105 to Brisbane, 7-11, 53. We kept Brisbane to 37 inside 50 entries, the lowest under Chris Fagan. Tackle count, 61 total tackles, 33 to Collingwood, 28 to Brisbane. We dominated clearances. We won the contested possessions. I'm being technical on that as well. This was Nick Dacos's best game here. Head and shoulders the best on ground. 38 disposals, kicked a goal, was tagged after half time. I'm not too sure what the tactic was about that one. Dan McStay, 3 goals against his old side. Jamie Elliott in game 200 as well, kicking a couple goals. And Thad, on top of that, this was a 5-game win streak, but most importantly, Gold Coast losing to Richmond meant that Collingwood at the end of round 6 was on top of the AFL ladder. Round 7 against Essendon, Anzac Day, 41-point win, 16-11, 107 to Essendon, 10-6, 66. Again, 41-point win. This was the first time since 2016 we weren't playing Essendon twice in a season. Ironically, Dill side bottom won the Anzac Day medal 2016, and he wins the Anzac Day medal in 2025. This was before Essendon's plethora of injuries, so we're taking on Essendon at their best here. We dominated clearances, tackles, and just our pressure throughout the ground. We were able to hold off Essendon. They played well in the second quarter and also early third quarter. Nick Dacos being captain this game, he dominated that first quarter as well. Ned Long, Pendlebury was solid as well. Dan McStay unfortunately went down with a knee injury, but wasn't ruled out for the season. Thankfully, he returned on King's birthday. Jamie Elliott, another milestone, kicking 300 career goals. 6-game win streak. We gained percentage, and we remained on top of the AFL ladder after round 7. Round 8, though, our win streak came to an end. 3-point loss to Geelong, 12-15-87 to Geelong 13-12-90. I am being biased here, but I still reckon this was the best game of the entire season. Jack Crisp missing a set shot after the siren, a set shot he would kick 8 times out of 10, breaking Jim Stein's record for most consecutive VFL AFL games played. Most players played well for Collingwood here. Bo McCreary, not so much. Hoskin Elliott was subbed on for Mason Cox. Jordan De Goey, however, wasn't fit to perform in this game, and he was ruled out due to injury for the next few months. Inaccuracy in this game cost us. There were some contentious free kicks against us, particularly that Bobby Hill tackle on Sean Manor, ruled a trip. It was there, and I did record this at the time. When I recorded this review, I uploaded this early Sunday afternoon. Hawthorn beat Richmond, but in that game at the time, James Sicily tackled Maurice Rioli. Below the knees, was pinged for holding the ball. That's what pissed me off. Just the inconsistencies week to week, day to day, game to game as well. Same round as well. But it is what it is. Our win streak came to an end against Geelong, who ended up making the grand final. So Can't be at fault for that one. Geelong's final quarter was immense, huge for their forward half pressure clearances. They were plus 10, I think, contested possessions. Patrick Dangerfield summoned his best form, his 2016 2017 form against us in that final quarter. Our win streak came to an end and we lost top spot. Round 9, though, against Fremantle, 5-day break, heading over there. First 2 minutes of this game, Mason Cox started in the ruck. Dan Houston kicking a torp out of the goal square in the first minute of the game. I thought to myself during the game, early first 5 minutes, Freo kicked the first 2 goals. I thought, right, this is a write-off. We're not taking this seriously, but somehow, some way, no Pendlebury, no Maynard, no De Goey. Uh, Someone else wasn't playing this game as well, but we won this game by 14 points off a 5-day break, travelling over there, 15-7-97 to Fremantle, 12-11-83. Here's some stats for you. Minus 75 in disposals, minus 28 inside 50s, minus 13 clearances, minus 12 contested possessions, minus 8 in marks, less disposal efficiency as well. But Collingwood plus 18 in tackles, 73.5% efficiency inside 50. What that means, 34 inside 50 entries, 25 scoring shots plus 3 shots on goal, shot attempts, 25 scoring attempts from 34 inside 50 entries. Unbelievable. Uh, Jamie Elliott, 6 goals, career high or equal career high. Jack Crisp, redemption game, career best game for him. That's the thing as well. When Jamie Elliott and Jack Crisp are playing career best games, when two of your experienced heads play career best games, you're likely to go far in winning the game. Bobby Hill, 3 goals. But the news out of this game, well, Nick Dacos was tagged, but Lockie Schultz knocked out, and the umpires just let the game go. Unbelievable. The game's gone. Player safety and welfare, duty of care was gone. Not a good look. And Lockie Schultz probably doesn't remember this game at all. Freo fans want to forget this game, and I'll celebrate this game remembering this one. But 14-point win, somehow, some way, a game we didn't deserve to win, a game we should not have won. But we're back on the winners list after round 9. Round 10, 10-point win over Adelaide, 10 wins in a row over Adelaide, 11-12, 78 to Adelaide, 10-8, 68. Overcast conditions, but the news of Adam Selwood passing, I received the news half an hour before the first bounce heading into the game, and it just took me out of this game emotionally. Couldn't get invested at all. The 3 votes for me in this game go to Craig McRae for his post-match interview. Pretty tough when your assistant coach is affected by family news and tragedy right there. The stats in this game, they weren't too thrilling. They don't tell the story in this game. The Crows, they were very accurate in front of goal. One of the best attacking sides in the competition this year, but we were able to keep them to below 70 points. No Darcy Moore, but Jeremy Howe, Billy Frampton, Braden Maynard was solid. Braden Maynard being the standing captain in this game. Third quarter blitz from Collingwood pretty much got the run and dash and carry and were able to hold off Adelaide in the final quarter. Frampton keeping Thorthorpe goalless, the franchise player, superstar Billy Frampton. 10 wins in a row against Adelaide, 10-point win in round 10, and we were back on top after round 10. Bit of a nothing game looking back on it, but Adelaide being the minor premiers, nice to get a win over Adelaide here. Round 11 against North Melbourne, 45-point win, but North Melbourne can hold their heads high after 3 quarters, 15-18, 108 to North Melbourne, 9-9, 63. Pies were up by 3 points at 3-quarter time, 7-17 to 8 goals 8. Bit of a fright in this one. I was nervous heading into this one because given last year's game and epic against North Melbourne, 9 goals down, early third quarter to win by a point. I was worried North Melbourne were going to play like the Globetrotters again, but we're able to hold off North Melbourne for 3 quarters and run away in the final quarter. 2 late outs. Pendlebury was out. Sidebottom missed this game, and Bobby Hill was a late out. Will Parker came in. Will Hayes made his debut. Oleg Markov coming in very late. Bunnings, 30 minutes prior, coming into this game. Kicks a final quarter goal. Cheeky celebration as well, which is good to see. Probably the best celebration this year. Sorry, Scott Pendlebury. Jamie Elliott kicking 5 goals. Ned Long, probably his best overall game here. Didn't register a Brownlow vote in this game. How dare you, umpires? Nick Dacos, massive final quarter, was able to get the Brownlow votes here. And we're on a 3-game win streak. And most importantly, we were still on top. Round 12 against Hawthorn, probably not our most clinical win, but in my personal opinion, my favourite win to attend, home and away wise, against Hawthorn here. Not so much against Hawthorn, just overall. Oh man, the double up against Hawthorn. Looking forward to the response and the other game we played against them. But round 12, 51-point win over Hawthorn, 16-11, 107 to Hawthorn, 8-8, 56. The best game I've watched or attended in years. Home and away for Collingwood. It trumps Port Adelaide win, that is. Uh, I said it best at the time. We controlled the footy when we didn't have the footy. That's such a trait to have, a skill, a technique, a master stroke to have defensively. We're able to force a turnover. We told Hawthorn where to kick it to, where we were going to turn it over, and how we were able to respond. We were able to use the corridor. We stopped Hawthorn's use of the corridor. Pressure was immense, plus 44 in tackles, 82 to 38. Keepings off in the final quarter, just took the piss out of the game in the final quarter, and it was pretty boring, but so be it. Jamie Elliott kicking 5 goals here, unbelievable. Side bottom best on ground, 27 disposals, 2 goals. Nick Dacos, 30 plus disposals, and a goal without being tagged as well. Must have been very liberating. And Ed Allen got a Rising Star nomination in this game as well. Patrick Lipinski, concussed, missed King's birthday. And this is where I start to side with Lee Matthews, not because it happened to a Collingwood player, but a red card rule. I don't think it was a red card offence sort of thing, but when Lloyd Meek concusses Lipinski and Lipinski is ruled out and Lloyd Meek can continue playing the game, doesn't sit well with me personally or professionally, but just being biased there, let's be honest. Billy Frampton was a defensive ruck as well. Not a fan of that. I think Frampton is much better use either as a key fullback defender or playing a lockdown roll up forward against Harris Andrews. That's the only two roles Billy Frampton should be playing, not in the ruck. Please, just don't do that ever again. But round 12, still on top, gained much needed percentage. Hawthorn were in a dour period here at the time. They lost to Brisbane the week prior, and we were able to smoke Hawthorn here. Round 13 against Melbourne, King's birthday. Again, I was out camping. I was outside of Melbourne, so I didn't watch this game. Was told of Stephen May confronting Max Gawn after the game. That was a bit funny. Oh, man. And Nick Dacos was tagged heavily, but Josh Dacos loves playing Melbourne. When Nick doesn't get you, Josh can. Jeremy Howe was solid here. Dan McStay's return game, kicking a goal. Bobby Hill, game 100. Will Hayes' first career goal. Forgettable game, and most of all, a forgettable round overall. And the Brisbane Lions losing also meant that Collingwood was 6 points clear on top. And this was also a 5 game win streak heading into our bye. Round 15, returning from the bye, we played St Kilda, Marvel Stadium, Saturday night. Not too thrilled with Marvel Stadium now. 34-point win, 16-12, 108 to St Kilda, 11-8, 74. I've written down 94 on my notes. Sorry about that, Nate. But Marvel trip, McCreary hamstring injury in the first quarter, which was a shame because he looked dominant in the first quarter. What could have been a breakout legacy game for Bo McCreary in the midfield. Nick Dacos being tagged, he had to step up with Windhager tagging him on his ass, and he was best on ground. That final quarter goal was epic, broke the game apart in that final quarter. Messiah being solid as usual here. The Saints forcing us wide, staying in the game. Bit of ring rust in the second quarter, particularly first half. We looked good to start the game. We held off St Kilda. I don't think St Kilda had the lead at all this game, but the second quarter, halfway through it, or particularly heading into half time, was god awful. But we're able to hold off St Kilda. Darcy Cameron, the stats won't show it, but he was solid in the ruck. He kicked 2 goals. He could have kicked 3 or 4 as well. Lipinski, 26 disposals, 2 goals. Pendlebury, 22 disposals and a goal. A cheeky celebration as well. And it was a 6 game win streak, and we were 6 points clear on top with a game in hand, most importantly. Round 16 against West Coast, first fee 18th. This should have been a shellacking. A shellacking it was not. 29-point win over West Coast, 13-10, 88 to West Coast, 8-11, 59. And Bobby Hill was laid out, and we didn't see him until round 21. Not impressed with this win at all, I think it's fair to say. But Charlie West made his debut, kicked a goal in his debut, but 4 key forwards, Triple M forward line plus Charlie West, didn't work at all. Billy Frampton, calf injury confirmed after the game. Nick Dacos, over handballing Sellers stuff there. Pendlebury, late goal and cheeky celebration. My check, game 150 as well. 7 game win streak, 29-point win, 10 points clear on top. Just a third time in our history we've done so in a season, 1929 and 1970. So things look good despite being a very unimpressive win over West Coast. Should have been more, should have been better, but round 17 against Carlton, it was better. 56-point win over Carlton, the old enemy. Night to Carlton season here. 8 wins in a row, 8-goal third quarter, broke the game apart. Dan McStay, 4 goals. The best goal of the year was Braden Maynard's smother Long bomb forward to Dan McStay, and Dan McStay long bomb for a shot on goal, 65 metres out, bouncing through. Rowan Steele, debut game. Tom Mitchell's first AFL game in 435 days. Nick Dacos, best on ground. Patrick Lipinski to Jamie Elliott was a sight to see. Could have won by more. We should have smoked them by 10 plus goals, but this was the first game in, I think, 10 years where the margin was over 5 goals. Modern fans or current generation Collingwood fans probably don't see this as a rivalry against Carlton, myself included, but it's an old rivalry. It does attract a crowd, but it's lopsided recently. But we do expect Carlton to bounce back at some point. 8-game win streak, and we were 10 points clear on top. And Friday night game, by the way, we headed into Saturday morning, the weekend at the time, 14 points clear. But results meant we were still 10 points clear at the end of round 17. Round 18, and our win streak came to an end again. A 6-point loss to Gold Coast at Metricon. PF Chang Stadium, I like to call it now. Metricon Stadium, People First Stadium to be exact. And this was Gold Coast's biggest game, home and away wise. And at the time, their biggest win in their career. The Gold Coast Suns arrived, as the commentators like to say. 6-point win for Gold Coast, 6-point loss for us. A goalless first half, 12 behinds halfway through the third quarter. I felt sorry for Collingwood fans that travelled up there for school holidays. It didn't look good at all. The Gold Coast, their defensive pressure and zoning ability and flooding the back line was unbelievable, and they dominated the midfield as well. We somehow, somehow got the lead halfway through the fourth quarter and then choked up the lead straight away. So wasn't too thrilled. Noah Anderson kicking goal of the year in this game from a centre clearances. Not too sure why that was voted that way, but Gold Coast, they held off Collingwood in the final quarter. And this game as well was the beginning of us resting players. I think we started to rest on our laurels. Resting players looked arrogant in hindsight. Not a fan of it. It's a season of attrition. We need players that can play a full season at a consistent high level. And if we're resting players because we feel that they're not going to be able to perform consistently at a high level, what does that say on the players? What does that say on our player management loads and whatnot? But it is what it is. Not a fan of resting players. Jeremy Howe, the beginning of his injury woes to end out the season. Scott Pendlebury starting as a sub. Not too sure why that's the case. Had he played a full game, what could have been? Certain players were struck with illness heading up to this game. Clearly, they weren't impactful in this game, but our win streak came to an end. And yeah, round 18, we're hoping to bounce back in round 19 against Fremantle. Another top 8 clash against an informed side in Fremantle. And we lost Sunday afternoon by a point, 11-12-78 to Fremantle, 12-7-79. It's one thing to win close games. It's terrible to lose these close games. And a 1-point loss, I'm still pissed off by this loss to Fremantle. The gap on top was gone. We were only 2 points clear at the end of round 19. 35 tackles inside 50, equal record in the AFL history, and we still couldn't win. That third quarter, man, 20 inside 50 entries for 1 goal, 2, and we still won the third quarter. But Patrick Voss, career best game. Nick Dacos, 43 disposals, I believe it was. And we had a double-digit lead in every quarter we had. We should have won this. We should have broken the game apart in the final quarter. I still remember this play. Jamie Elliott, set shot miss. Fremantle get it out of defensive 50. They cause a turnover, or they turn it over in the middle of the ground. Ed Allen runs past loose ball, get Freo bounce back, get the ball. And I think it was Jager O'Meara who kicked that goal, bounces through. 2 Collingwood defenders struggle to get a finger onto it. And that play pisses me off. We should have won this game. Unbelievable we lost this game with 90 seconds to go. 1-point loss, 2 points clear on top. Bo McCreary returning in this game and then gets injured. So, yeah, not too thrilled. 5 players were out in this game as well. And that's the thing as well. When you're making these massive changes, you can't get stability or team chemistry or synergy into the side, and it just looks arrogant in hindsight, just resting all these players. But back-to-back losses, not too thrilled of it, and we're only 2 points clear on top. Round 20 against Richmond, back on the winners list though, 6-goal win, 13-15-93 to Richmond, 8-9-57. Not bad, not good. But back on the winners list, remained on top. Nick Dacos, best on ground, 42 disposals, 3 goals, 2 contested marks. But Lockie Sullivan going down with a knee injury ruled him out for the season. I think the VFL was the game prior. Jordan De Goey, Bobby Hill, Billy Frampton all returning. But yeah, back on the winners list, still on top, and it was the last week we were on top. Round 21 against Brisbane, Saturday night MCG. Brisbane got their win back with a promissory note until we meet it again. And Brisbane 14-8-92, defeating Collingwood 10-5-65. And Collingwood lost top spot. Brisbane Lions responding from their Q Clash disaster the week prior to Gold Coast. Logan Morris, 6 goals. Henry Smith, 3 goals. Sorry, Siri. Or Alexa, who the fuck is Henry Smith? Brisbane's midfielders dominated our midfielders here. Ned Long stood out like a sore thumb in this game. 9 disposals, 7 tackles, 44% disposal efficiency as well. We dropped Tom Mitchell for this game. Not too sure why that was the case. Jordan De Goey, Bobby Hill returning. Bobby Hill the sub. Jordan De Goey was subbed out. They both kicked the goal in this game. Both made the most of their returns. I think this was Charlie Dean and Oleg Markov's final game for us as well. But yeah, we lost top spot. And then disaster struck round 22 against Hawthorn. 64-point loss, 17-8, 110 Hawthorn, Collingwood, 6-10-46, 64-point loss. Jeremy Howe returning, gets knocked out in the first minute. Tom Mitchell returning and then being dropped the week after, probably his final game for us. This was the worst home and away game I've attended in 14 years. I attended our 96-point loss to Geelong, round 24, 2011. 64-point loss to Hawthorn here. This was a fucking disaster. Sorry to say that. Going to skip ahead. Hoskin Elliott's final game for us here, but still side bottom. Game 350. Sorry, 350, and we lost like that. I feel sorry for side bottom. I feel sorry for Perryman. Game 150 as well, and we fell to third spot, and we were still a mathematical chance to miss finals. That's how bad this loss was. Round 23 against Adelaide, third loss in a row, 3-point loss. Adelaide 9-5-59, Collingwood 8-8-56. Wet weather conditions. It looks like a good halftime score, a decent three-quarter time score, but a shit final quarter score. 5 of the last 6 games we've lost, and Adelaide broke their duck, their hoodoo, their crow, their magpie against us. But the big talking point out of this game was Isaac Rankin's homophobic slur to Isaac Quaynor. Yeah, the biggest news story, I reckon, for the season, impactful for Adelaide's season. Collingwood, though, we should have won this game, plus 34 inside 50s, 71 inside 50s for 8-8-56. I said in my preview video, I wasn't going to give Collingwood a pass if we were dominant or we were solid but lost. Adelaide were on top. Adelaide were able to cement the minor premiership. But I was conflicted. Very good first quarter, kicking 5 goals to start the game. And then just like Adelaide against Hawthorn the week prior, they concede the first 5 goals. They were able to respond in the second quarter, to be exact. Yeah, it was conflicting. We lost this game, but we showed signs we're able to at least make a push for September. Freo loss to Brisbane meant we were able to guarantee finals, thankfully, but not too thrilled to guarantee finals off the back of another team losing. Bone McCreary returning. Jordan De Goey was starting to string together a few games as well. Some players returning to form, but still lost the game. Nick Dacos best on ground. But round 24, to wrap up the home and away season, we're able to get back on the winners list and actually cement top 4, winning by 6 points against Melbourne, 11-16-82 to Melbourne, 11-10-76. Again, back on the winners list, we were down by up to 16 points in that final quarter. So the kick last 4 goals of the game to win the game. Good response, good comeback, good win as well. Tim Membry's 200th game. Jordan De Goey's best game of the season for us, hitting peak form at the right time. Still getting battered in the midfield, but we're able to hold off Melbourne, finish 4th. But we still had a lot of work to do. There was still, I guess, some murmurs and concerns. We get knocked down straight sets. We stood out like a sore thumb with our end of season form, but finishing 4th meant a qualifying final game against Adelaide. Massive game there, heated, convoluted, whatever you want to call it. I'm not too sure why it's convoluted, but heading into that game as well, not being arrogant, but I felt confident we were able to respond and take it to Adelaide. And we took it to Adelaide. We beat Adelaide by 24 points to win the qualifying final and to cement a prelim home final. Collingwood 11-13-79 to Adelaide 8-7-55, 24-point win. Against the odds, let's be honest. Interstate finals win. I have to wait, I reckon, 12 months. If we make finals in 2026, I will be able to rank our finals wins, but this will be up there. But I'm used to these backs against the wall, interstate away wins, underdog wins in finals, and then having our hopes disappointed the week or the few weeks after. So that's what happened. But Josh Dacos, game 150. Tex Walker's 300th game, but Josh Dacos is more important. Jamie Elliott, 4 goals. Side bottom, 3 goals. Side bottom hadn't kicked 3 goals in a game since 2018, so bit of good fortune there. Jordan to go his best game, almost impactful game, I reckon. Nick Dacos solid in the midfield again, much better disposal use. Ned Long, dominant third quarter. Patrick Lipinski kicking the best goal of the game, I reckon. Good second, third efforts as well. Darcy Moore's best game of the season. Billy Frampton's best game of the season. Isaac Quaynor, I reckon, best game of the season. And we broke Adelaide's spirit, and it showed in their semi-final loss, getting knocked out in straight sets as the minor premiers. If I speak, I'm in trouble because we lost in the prelim final, unfortunately. That's where our season ended. We lost to Brisbane by 29 points, 11-15-71 to Brisbane, 15-10-100. If you didn't watch round 21 against Brisbane, you should watch this game here because it's exactly what happened. Slow start first quarter, dominant second quarter, then Brisbane just dominated after half time. Forced a stalemate final quarter, and they're able to kick a goal or two to ice the game, put the cherry on top, and punch their ticket to the grand final, and we get knocked out. Fourth spot, taking on Brisbane in third spot, home final for us. So this was a 55-45 game. We should have won this game, though. We were the favourites. Brisbane Lions were battered and bruised and injured, and Brisbane, far too good, deserving back-to-back premiers. It makes me sick to my stomach that we lost to Brisbane, and given Geelong's performance in the grand final, I'll spew up. I'll go back to the aquarium to talk about this one. But Jamie Elliott, 4 goals. Mason Cox, 2 goals. He was solid. But this was the narrative, the fit to play versus fit to perform narrative. Brody Mychek batted. Jeremy Howe's first full game in 3 months. Bobby Hill wasn't named. Pendlebury, calf injury. Yeah, a lot of players were battered and bruised and injured. Craig McRae, not going to blame him overall, but he'll cop it on the chin. He'll learn from this. Hopefully, Craig McRae responds in 2026. He learns from his lessons. I do give credit to Craig McRae, by the way, talking about the fit to play and fit to perform narrative. And the actions spoke louder than words throughout the season, but it backfired in the prelim final. So 2025, it promised a bit, not a lot of expectations from me. I predicted we finish 8th with 14 wins and make finals, but we exceeded expectations. 16 wins, an extra win in finals, 4th spot, technically 3rd after finals. So I give this season a thumbs up, but it's a season that promised so much halfway through the season and we got nothing out of it. We were the 4th team in VFL AFL history to not make a grand final after being 10 plus points clear on top. Power in 03, St Kilda in 04, and the Dockers in 2015. So just something to improve on. It does show that our best can beat everyone, but we need to be consistent. Again, it's a season of attrition. We need to improve in the midfield. Our scoring profile needs to lift as well. Our forward 50 connections need to lift, be more consistent, and be accurate as well in front of goals. And also just being defensively disciplined as well. A lot of times we leak goals, not locking down early enough. But I'll go over our team stats in terms of our averages compared to the opposition or the league this year. So we averaged 86.57 points a game. We were 8th in the competition for that. So didn't meet the Fox Footy Premiership window criteria. But points against, we averaged 70.74 points conceded a game, the best in the competition for that. The midfield is where it was a bit of a letdown. Even though we were winning games, we were still getting beaten in the midfield. Averaging 350 disposals a game, ranked 13th. 127 contested possessions, ranked 14th. 36 clearances on average, ranked 15th. 11.6 centre clearances, ranked 12th. 24.4 stoppage clearances, ranked 14th. So a lot of areas to improve on. That's why I asked for Collingwood to bring in a second best mid, i.e. Clayton Oliver, to assist Nick Dacos and also allow Perryman, DeGoey, Josh Dacos, McCreary, Long to play their natural games. We were the best in the competition, however, for tackles, 65.4 tackles a game. 10th in the competition for marks overall, 88 marks a game. I like to see the stats for opposition marks conceded. For us, I think they'd be high up there. We need to improve on that. Just possess the footy, control the footy, be more efficient by foot. We were 7th in the competition for inside 50s, 53.1. Skipping over the contested marks, 9.5 contested marks a game, ranked 10th. We weren't dominated in the air per se, but I think we need to improve our contested marks. Someone like Darcy Cameron, Darcy Moore, Mason Cox, and also our key forwards as well. 13.3 marks a game inside 50, ranked 4th. 13 tackles a game inside 50, ranked 2nd. Thank you, Jamie Elliott. Schultz, McCreary, Long, Crisp as well. Intercepts, 68 intercepts a game, ranked 3rd. Ranked 14th for turnovers, 62.3. But in our losses after Gold Coast, our turnovers increased. So, yeah, that told a story there. 37 rebounds a game, ranked 14th. This is where Dan Houston needs to improve his performance next year. I'll touch on the player reviews and analysis soon. Shot accuracy never went above 50%, stuck at 46.9%. It was as low as 40% throughout the year. We were able to improve on that. Ranked 10th, just never in the top half of the competition for that. Goal efficiency, 23.2%, ranked 10th. It was as high as 30% throughout the season, ranked in the top 4, clearly. Dropping down to 23.2%, not good enough. Shot efficiency, 49.5%, just below 50%, ranked 9th in the competition. And disposal efficiency, 71.7%, ranked 13th in the competition. So our efficiency, our accuracy, and just our midfield as well. From the team stats, our averages need to lift, need to improve. Again, bring in a midfielder. Does it need to be an efficient midfielder? Who knows? But Nick Dacos, I think, can improve on that. Josh Dacos can improve on that. Perryman, DeGoey, Ned Long, maybe Clayton Oliver in the midfield. Then Matia, maybe, if he makes a debut. Ed Allen, if he's moved into the midfield. If Lockie Sullivan will play the Tom Mitchell role, who knows? It's all a watch this space. But from the team stats, there's areas we need to improve on. It does show it does regress to the means at times. So areas to improve on. Clearly, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, and from the team stats as well. Certain players to bring in would make our team look better. Just an update. It's 41 minutes, 25 seconds as of you guys looking at this clip here. It's 4 o'clock here. This is an impromptu clip I'm adding here to conclude this video. The reason for this is I'm not going to include the player stats for this. As I've just mentioned earlier, 41 minutes, 25 seconds, and it's going on now. But the player analysis, if I include it in this video in general, in total, is going to go above 100 minutes. Basically, the player analysis is longer than a team analysis and team review. So I'm going to discard the player analysis and review. I do think the Copeland Trophy recap and previous videos in the past week or so, just looking over some of our players and their stats this year, particularly the areas of improvement, covers the stats for certain players. It's not going to cover every single player. I did record this. I've got the evidence here to back it up. Every player was discussed, a minute each. I'm including from Darcy Cameron all the way down to Harvey Harrison. Everyone was talked about. Ash Johnson, I talked about him for a certain minute or two, little things like that. So going to discard it here. I'm wrapping up this video here as of 4 o'clock. I'm not too sure if this is going to be uploaded at 5 o'clock. I have updated and saved the edited project. I'm going to process this now. Can't guarantee it's going to be 5 o'clock by the time I upload this. It might be 5:30, 6 o'clock. And also, again, time constraints. I am recording part 3 of the season review on Black and White United's YouTube channel alongside Mick. And after today or tonight, I'm going to be uploading recap videos for the trade period, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and also into next week. That goes from October 6th to October 15th, as well as any other updates throughout the free agency period, particularly with Brody Mychek. Dak Butters news has dropped today on Sunday. So yeah, it's all a watch this space. You know the drill, yada, yada, yada. But because of time constraints, I'm also working in the office next week and pretty much the entire month of October. So I'm a busy boy. I'll do recap videos, 5 to 10 minutes. If it's not going to be uploaded Monday night, Tuesday night, you name it, it'll be uploaded the morning after, first thing. So that's all to watch this space. Just a heads up there. This is verbal confirmation, not written confirmation. I do apologize if you guys wanted to look at the player analysis and reviews. Not to be, maybe for another time. Definitely for next year, I'll be more prepared. Hopefully no errands or emergencies or anything like that. If I recorded all of this yesterday on Saturday, then I think we would have gone ahead with pretty much the team and player reviews and analysis. And the video would have been 90 plus, maybe even 100 plus minutes, maybe even close to 2 hours. But this will still be the longest video I've ever done. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to dislike this video if you're not happy with the player reviews being missed out. Give your thoughts on our season, the trade period, anything Collingwood related. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Cheap plugs again, but I'll leave you guys all to it. Hope you guys have had a good weekend. Please be well, please be safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Up the pies.
Up the pies!